Hey there everyone, welcome back to Oh Brother Comics. Today, we are going over our 10 in 10, and that is the show where we go ahead and we choose 10 books from this last Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. We go ahead and we read them, and we give you our review in 10 minutes or less. So, time is of the essence. Let's get to this list. Nick, you're starting us off, brother. What you got for us?
All right, up first for me is Beta Ray Bill number 5. This is written and illustrated by Daniel Warren Johnson, and this is the last issue of the 5-issue miniseries. So it definitely went out with a bang. It is non-stop action, great fight scenes. I loved the whole series, and with that being said, I think that this series needed at least one additional issue. This issue just felt very rushed and had too much trying to get done in the few pages that it had. I definitely don't think that they fully resolved Beta Ray Bill's feelings from the first issue, so I really would have liked to see that. But even though we didn't get to see resolution of his feelings and all of that, I think the issue was outstanding. I thought the entire story as a whole was great, and I cannot wait to see what they do with Beta Ray Bill next. I rate this at a 4 out of 5 for this week.
The next book we'll be talking about is Amazing Fantasy #1 by Marvel. I really like this book. We get Captain America, we get Spider-Man, we get Black Widow, and they are all, drumroll please, dead. Yes, they are all dead. They all die, and they go to this astonishing world with centaurs and elves and lions with wings and dragons, and another drumroll please, Uncle Ben. This story kept me wondering what was going to be on the next page. I was excited the whole time. I really enjoyed all the characters interacting. This is a fun little 5-book series, and I'm definitely invested into what is to come and how it's going to play out. I give this book a very whimsical 3.8. It's very entertaining, very good.
For our next book, we chose The Last Book You'll Ever Read. It's written by Colin Bunn and art is by Layla Lays. It was quite an intriguing story. Now, it wasn't anything that initially caught me right off the bat, but the story takes place with an author who wrote this book called Satyr, and when read, it causes the primal instincts and primal urges, like the killing and the violent urges that were all built into us in our most primordial parts of our DNA come out, and people start acting on them, attacking and lashing out against other people, and no one really knows why, but all we know is something is tied to this book that this author wrote. Overall, I did enjoy the book. I rated it a 3.2 out of 5 award for this week. I am really looking forward to the next one. Hopefully we get a little bit more of the story, because I'm really quite intrigued to see where they're going to be taking this.
Up next for me is Star Wars High Republic number 7. This is by Kevin Scott and Ario Anindito. So this issue was amazing. Now, I am a huge Star Wars fan, but the original trilogy and the sequel trilogy issues, the comic series that have been coming out, have just been kind of falling flat and not really living up to the Star Wars hype that I grew up with. And this High Republic series has been absolutely living up to that hype. I cannot wait. Every time I see that this is coming out, I can't wait to pick it up from my local comic shop. I rate this at a 4.2, and this is my pick of the week.
All right, the next book we'll be talking about is Parasomnia #2 by Dark Horse. Another great book. Again, I really don't like reviewing consecutive books because I like to keep it fresh. I like to keep it new, mostly for personal reasons, for selfish reasons, because I just like checking out new books. But this was one of those titles that I was too excited to not pick up and read and share with y'all. There's definitely more backstory to this, but Bunn, of course, the writer Colin Bunn, Bunn really keeps things mysterious, but in a way that keeps me engrossed. What we know is that there's a man living through many generations, traveling around trying to save young boys, it seems like, from some faceless queen that he calls her. He sounds as if he's from another world, maybe. I don't know what's going on, but I want to know, and this is what keeps me into this series. It's really well written. The art is really fun. The action scenes are cool. This one was a little bit slower. I gave this issue like a very captivating 3.7. I think my expectations got the best of me a little bit. Regardless, I'm still very excited for the third issue, and I highly recommend this story to everybody.
All right, continuing along with our next book, we went with Something is Killing the Children, number 18. Now, this is written by James Tynion and art is by Werther Dell'Edera. This book is just a continuation of the amazing story that Tynion is writing and telling with Something is Killing the Children. We continue along where we get to meet a new character that's out on this farm called Big Gary Slaughter, and he is the gentleman who essentially indoctrinates people into the Order of St. George. So he puts them through the test where they have to face their monster that is trapped within their totem. This time, Erica is getting her indoctrination into the Order, and we're waiting to see if she's going to survive her encounter with this creature. This book has always just been a pleasure to read. I rated it a 4 out of 5 awards for this week. It's a great book. Guys, if you aren't on the Something is Killing the Children train, you definitely should be getting on it now.
Third book for me is Batman Reptilian number 2. This is by Garth Ennis and Liam Sharp. Now, the one thing that I am absolutely loving with this comic is the art style. So the art it's a painting. It's very dark and very well done. I'm also really enjoying the story. I think the dialogue is great. It's an amazingly suspenseful read. This issue is definitely better than the first one. Very clear cut, and the author does an amazing job at giving just enough information to keep you wanting more. So if you love suspense and horror, then this comic is definitely for you. I rated this at a 3.8 out of 5.
The next book we'll be talking about is Possessive number 1 by Zenescope. This book is friggin' hilarious, dude. We got Todd, the main character, an alcoholic, soon to be divorced father who just went broke buying an old crappy house that he quickly learns is haunted by a murderous chick ghost. After she horrifically kills 3 dudes that he hires to fix up his house, but they actually were just thieves looking to rob him. I give it a very pleasantly surprised and even a charming 4.3. Go get it. Go read it. If you're a divorced alcoholic father with bad luck and living in a haunted house with a psycho lady ghost, you can really relate to this story. And even if you're not that, you'll still relate to this story. Well, you won't probably relate to it, but you'll find it very funny, very entertaining. I cannot wait for the next issue. I just am so excited to see how these funny roommates, I guess, kind of get along. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a fun ride.
And for our next book, we went with Department of Truth number 11. It's written by James Tynion and art is by Posey Simmons. This issue continues off with Cole's Bigfoot hunt. We also get a continuation with the story that runs parallel alongside Cole's story. That story is where we're following this father who is going on his very last Bigfoot hunt, essentially to prove to himself and his family that what he saw with his father that night was not an illusion. This issue was definitely a nice change of pace. We got to see a side of Hawk that I definitely was not expecting, and it gave us a nice message that sometimes people just need a little closure and a little bit of humanity shown towards them. This was a very satisfying issue, and because of that, I rated it a solid 3.8 this week. I am very much looking forward to the next issue.
For my final book this week, I had Vinyl number 2. And this comic is a hilariously sadistic and very well done series. So I'm usually dissuaded by gore and all of that, like the horror and the suspense. I usually don't read comics like that, but this one, the illustration is what really drove me to picking up the first issue. So after I read that first one, I had to pick up the second one, and this one definitely does not disappoint. It continues on with that same theme. It's just a constant stream of just all-out serial killer mania, and I'm really enjoying it. So definitely recommend picking this up if that is what you are into. And this one I also rated at a 3.8 out of 5.
Well guys, that's going to do it for this week's 10 in 10. We hope you all enjoyed this list we put together. If there are any books that you guys are interested in coming this next week that maybe you'd like us to review, please leave us a comment down below. We'll go ahead and we'll take a look at it and see if we can throw it in our next week's list. Also, while you're at it, please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to invite you to become one of our family in our community. And if you enjoy this video, smash that like button. It definitely helps us out a lot. Guys, thank you all for watching. We will catch you all next week.